Hi, I'm Hazel. It's almost Saturday today, which makes it time for us to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what's been up with me, and answer some of your questions. And this week we had a brand new dev Q&A. Ian and Josh sat down to answer some questions from the community, and my highlights from that are, first of all, they will allow us in a future content patch, probably 8.2, to hide our chest slot, and update, just posted a thing in the forum saying they're going to extend that to every other slot except for pants. You know, that's the subscript. That's the fine print. You must still wear your pants. You still need your bottoms, but they're going to let us take off our tops and our wrists and our hands and our feet. Just naked people everywhere. I have a guildie that plays a male night elf demon hunter that has like the most glorious transmogs, and a very key component of those is that he must be wearing as little of a shirt as possible, and I'm just really happy for him. And also I'm just generally really excited, specifically for me, gloves, being able to hide gloves. I know there are a couple of glove transmogs that look like you're basically not wearing gloves, but usually, especially if they're like big, chunky, like fireproof oven mitts, I don't want any of that. And I'm really glad that I'll be able to just like turn those off unless I have a look that I feel like really needs gloves. So can't wait for that. I'm a little surprised. I figured that was the direction they were heading eventually when they said they were going to loosen transmog restrictions. You know, I figured we'd probably keep pants, but we could maybe turn off other things. I'm surprised that they are going to just give it all to us at once. I figured that they would be like, okay, we're gonna let you disable these things, but we're not gonna tell you that right away. We're just gonna kind of drip feed them one at a time, because then they could have just like little mini bursts of goodwill every time they decide to turn them on, until at least we catch on to them and realize that this has been the plan all along. Never mind, I don't know where I'm going with that. Naked people for everyone. Good piece of news number 2 from the Q&A is they are going to be adding back in a Caverns of Time portal. So that was probably the most generally missed portal from the removed portals with 8.15, so they'll be popping one of those back in. Again, probably 8.2 and probably to the portal room at that time, so not soon, but, you know, soon-ish. I'm anticipating that we'll get 8.2 news, like, based on, you know, what is it now? It's like late March, and 8.15 came out then, and the raid's coming out then, and I'd say that we're gonna get news about 8.2 in April, and then 8.2 release, I'm just guessing, but I'm thinking late May. So it would be a while, but not too long. But again, those are just total guesses. We don't know. And then the other big thing that they talked about is they floated, for the first time at least from their mouths, the idea of a level squish. So instead of, you know, being brand new to WoW and then having to level 120 times in order to get to max level, instead, what if you leveled 60 times or 80 times or like 4? I don't know. My initial feeling, like my gut reaction before I've had time to actually figure out why I feel this way, is like, I get that it's needed, but I hate it. Like, I instinctually hate it. And I'm trying to figure out why I feel that way, because there are definitely valid reasons why a level squish could be hugely beneficial for the game. It's a huge off-put to try and recruit somebody into WoW and being like, yep, you just got to get 120 levels and you can be playing with the rest of us. And sure, you can boost, but if you ever want alts, it's a lot of levels. And the valid point was made that while you're leveling, you get actual new skills and abilities and talents very rarely. You can level 10, 15 levels at a time and get absolutely nothing except for having your stats like moved around. And because of the way level scaling works, sometimes you're not even getting better. You're just like getting weaker. And in the same area, because the areas scale up. So that's a little weird, and I feel like that could be fixed by level squish. But it just, for me, it just feels really gross. I think the big question, I mean, there's two, I think, concerns with this to me. First of all, is there's like the intangible, what do you lose when you log into retail WoW and you're like not level 120 anymore? Like, do you feel like you have lost some kind of accomplishment to be... It's not being de-leveled, but it kind of is, and it might feel like that, and obviously that's just like a feeling thing, but it's, you know, games are all about weird feeling things, and if something weird doesn't feel good for some weird reason we don't understand, it's still not fun, and people will hate it regardless of whether they understand whether they hate it. So I don't know how much of a problem that is, although it is something that I think could be adjusted to. Like, maybe it's like the stat squish. You log in, and it feels weird that the numbers aren't the same, but you get used to it, and then life goes on. And then the other concern, and this is the one that worries me more, is that unless you make it drastically faster to do the new level 1 to 60 relative to how long it took to do the old 1 to 120. Like, I'm talking twice as fast, 3 times as fast. Unless it's way, way faster, it's going to feel really slow to be taking, you know, twice as long, 3 times as long to level up. Even though there aren't as many levels, we're still used to going ahead and leveling and being able to just get the yellow glow and the sound and have the number tick up, you know, a couple of times a session. And if you log in, you do a bunch of dungeons and you quest through a zone and you get like almost a level, even if you don't need as many, that may feel bad. And again, that's one of those things that you probably just kind of adjust to over time, but I like just finished leveling not 120, I'm like 111 on my Nightborn. Got my heritage armor, which I'm pretty big fan of, but I just finished doing that, and it took me about 35 hours or so of playtime, and I wasn't going super crazy hard on it. And the thing that kind of helped me stay motivated is the fact that I could sit down and log in for like half an hour before I went to do something, and I could get a couple of levels in that time, and that's something that would not be the case after Level Squish. So just questions to be thought about. It's not like an announcement, it's just something that they're considering the idea of. I do think something needs to be done. That's probably it. Like, the only other thing I can think of is if they leave 1 to 120, but instead of just like adding levels on top of that and making the problem worse over time, if they had some kind of a Paragon leveling system, I don't know. Alternate progress, like, you still want to level up, I don't know. It's not my job, and thank goodness, because it looks hard. Going on in WoW right now, we have the Welcome Back weekend happening this weekend, so if you or anybody that you know has an inactive sub, but you're like kind of sort of interested in checking out what's happened in 8.15 or 8.1 or whatever, you can log in and play for free without having to reactivate your sub. You could even, if you really wanted to, log in and like try really hard to make a bunch of gold so that you can pay for your sub with gold again, like whatever you want. Game is free until Monday. Saw some news this morning about players getting temporary bans for abusing the leveling pot exploit. If you missed it, the new experience flask that's available on the service metal vendor, there was a bug with it last week where if you split the stacks up into single stacks and then use them one at a time, you could just continue to stack them up and use a whole bunch of them. There were a couple of streamers doing it. It was fairly widely known on social media, and apparently if you did it, you woke up to a ban this morning in durations ranging from 2 days, 7 days, and then 31 days, depending on factors we don't really know, but probably how badly you abused it, and also potentially like your past account history. So my thoughts on this basically boil down to, that sucks, don't cheat. I think it was pretty clear that it was an exploit. It would be hard to accidentally get caught by this because of the stack splitting behavior that had to be done before you actually took advantage of it. Although I did hear some people that were leveling just through Draenor with the normal flask that way that got kind of caught up in it, so hopefully those ones get overturned. But I do think it would have been better if they had caught the bug a lot earlier, because it was up for a couple of days. Like, if they had been a little faster on it and then either just de-leveled people if that was possible, or just, you know, disable it so quickly before everybody hears about it and does it, that would have been better. But what do? I do think this is a good precedent to set, that even if a exploit is really widespread, that they will still punish it, because this means that next time, you know, people that choose to not exploit don't feel like they're just missing out on free stuff. Other things happening this week, the Trial of Style is now live. There are some new Transmog sets to collect from it. Of course, new is used loosely because they still don't want to put like exclusive Transmog into the Trial of Style. They still want it to feel skippable, but there are some fresh sets to get. I think that they look a little bit better than the previous Trial of Style sets that were available. Granted, it was not a high bar, but I am looking forward to doing that probably this afternoon on stream. This week was also the release of the first ever toys to appear on the in-game cash shop. The Transmorpher beacon and some kind of faction-specific fireworks are on the cash shop now. They are $10 each, and I think the reason why we're collectively a little less mad about this one is because 25% of the proceeds go towards the prize pools for the MDI and the WoW Arena tournament at the end of the year. That's an idea that's been around for a long time in other esports franchises, and it's nice to see WoW adopting it. I am a little bit, not concerned, but a little bit put off by some of the fine print. First of all, 25% is not a very big ratio. Second of all, is that 25% split evenly between those two things, or is it like we don't really know where the 25% is going? And third of all, there was language in the post that said proceeds contribute to the prize pools with a guaranteed minimum prize pool of $500,000 USD. $250,000 for each event. So my question is that $500,000 guaranteed mean that if the proceeds from the toys are less than $500,000, Blizzard will just pay the $500,000 to make up for it, and then they don't actually really count until it's more than $500,000? because that's less exciting than it sounds, but I don't know what the projected sales numbers are for the toys. I did buy one. I got the Transmorpher Beacon. That's the one that summons an ethereal that can transmog anybody in the party that talks to him into a random boss. So it's kind of like the Coin of Many Faces, which is our raid's favorite toy, except that everybody in the group can use it. It only lasts 20 minutes instead of an hour. Has a 1 hour cooldown, and like the Coin of Many Faces, it does not drop in combat or on death, so it's a fun raiding toy, and I like that you get the extra fun game of everybody trying to figure out which bosses everybody is, which some people are much better at than others. And then in my life this week, I got my hair color touched up when I got my roots done, so we're a little darker now, a little more void elf. I got this done by Britt at Vanity Junkie. I will put her Instagram tag. She's awesome if you're around Portland and want to get your hair done. And then the fish are good, the dog is good. We're taking the cat to the vet tomorrow. She's got just like a very slightly swollen eye. We've been calling her Blinky because she just keeps blinking on that side, so we're gonna get her checked out and see if she needs like some eye drops or something. And then I picked up some more shrimp. I said I was gonna buy more shrimp. I bought more shrimp, and I think I do have at least 1 or 2 lady shrimp in there. It's hard to tell, they're kind of young still, but they're real cute and they've been doing good. I haven't lost a single one of them yet, which I'm excited about. I also fell down a YouTube rabbit hole this week of houseplant videos and got like re-excited about some of my houseplants. I went through like a huge succulent phase a couple of years ago and got like a ton of succulents. I've been paying a little less attention to them ever since I got super into the fish. So I did the rounds and checked up on them and gave some water to some plants that needed some water. They are all succulents, so they can take a little bit of neglect. I now want like 40 more houseplants and I need to relax. I actually put up a Twitter thread with like before and after pictures of some of the plants that I've had for like 3 or 4 years. And if you have any before and after pictures of your houseplants that have grown, I would love to see those. So tweet those to me. I am Hazelnuttygames on Twitter. And then questions from this week. Katie asks, I faction changed my hunter for the achievement, also wanted to see the alliance side of things. If I ever switch back to horde after completing the achievement, would I lose the 2 mounts? So once they are yours, they are yours. There is no known case to me of a achievement being de-achieved or of a mount being unrewarded unless it was like only usable on one character. So once you get it, you're good. Casey asks, have you ever been so fed up with a low-level character that you deleted it? I have one that I hate to play and I have no gear, but I feel a little guilty because she's cute. Totally, yeah. I definitely make more alts than I can level. I bite off a little more than I can chew sometimes. Most of my low-level alts that end up getting deleted are characters that I make specifically to level with like a friend or a guildie or a partner. And we always level together like once, and then never again, and then the character just like sits there for a year, and then eventually I just like delete it and hope they never ask about it again. I do that a lot. And I'm not quite sure about this name, but Google Translate tells me it's Marin, so I hope that's it. What is your all-time favorite mount? So if I had to pick just one, I would say the Lucid Nightmare, and I think it's because it hits like that mix of being gorgeous, but also like a spooky, voidish purple aesthetic that goes with my Gnome Shadow Priest. And I had to work hard enough to get it that it's special to me. I have a lot of mounts that are really cool, but if I felt like they were just kind of like freebies by the game, or if they're shop mounts, I don't feel like I earned it, and then I don't like them as much. I only like things that I had to work really hard for. So definitely the Lucid Nightmare, probably followed by the Bloodfang Widow. And that has been my week. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you have a question that you would like me to answer on a vlog, please leave it in the comments of the most recent vlog. Let me know what you think, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.